Back at the start of 2020, I was scrolling through YouTube when I suddenly found a video titled Overwatch Workshop Dio Brando Boss Fight. To extremely simplify things, Dio is the main baddie of a show called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. His abilities include having a personal punching ghost that fights for him and being able to stop time. This might sound really confusing, but I promise it makes sense if you watch the show. Once Blizzard finally released the workshop, it didn't take much time until people tried to put their favorite characters in Overwatch. And the same happened to Dio. Just like in the anime, Dio had his personal punching ghost, and they also recreated his iconic ability to
Double kill.
身を捨てても
ジョナサンの孫ジョセフ、これで貴様は死んだ。
Even though I knew nothing about JoJo's back then, when I first watched this video, my marbles were completely blown. They were blown so hard that this led me to dedicating the next year of my life to creating custom Overwatch game modes. If I'm being honest, I was very mediocre at workshopping. Most of my modes were extremely unpolished, and they weren't exactly fun either. I did create a Spider-Man simulator one time. I guess that one was pretty decent since it won a workshop jam with a prize pool of 25 loot boxes. But I'm glad I created them, because it led me to discover a whole world of new fun experiences I didn't even know existed. And it led me to discover a community full of talented, welcoming, amazing people who would go on to change my life. So anyways, the workshop is gone now. In typical Blizzard fashion, when Overwatch 2 came around, they temporarily removed the workshop since the time that should have been spent on porting it to the sequel is instead spent on this, and this, and this. These cost more in-game than in real life. Why? Not only that, but a lot of already existing modes are now completely broken because of changes to certain commands and heroes. Remember the Dio boss fight mode I mentioned earlier? Yeah, it's completely screwed up now. And this bloomed a thought that had been planted in the back of my mind for a long time. What happened to community content? As time passes, more and more multiplayer titles lack tools to create your own unique maps and modes. And I find that extremely odd, since if a game that came out 20 years ago already allowed its player base to make their own maps, then today's modern AAA titles also have the resource to do that, right? Well, reality is that you can't create ambitious features like this out of the blue. You must make them extremely simple to use while allowing for as much creative freedom as you can, and they must also be accessible to all players from all platforms your game is in. You also need to create and support a good server browser so people can find servers to join easily, and you need to keep it clean from any harmful material. Things like this take a lot of time and money, and most companies don't see the benefit of investing that much time and money into a single feature. However, I disagree with that thought process, because truth is that the positives completely outweigh the downsides. So let's look at the benefits of community content. When Halo gets mentioned, a lot of people's minds immediately drift to Forge. Even though Forge was extremely simple and plain in its first iteration back in Halo 3, only allowing you to place simple shapes and a handful of items, players showed everyone their creativity and ingenuity. And that led to the creation of thousands of different modes and maps, and to the formation of a community that would go on to live for years to come, and would probably live for even more if 343 didn't pull the plug on Halo 3 servers. Fast forward to Halo Infinite, and custom game modes have only gotten better and wackier. The community has produced so many decades worth of content in so little time that almost anything you can imagine is probably a Halo Infinite custom game already. And that's incredible, because while you wait for 343 to start lifting their fingers and actually update their game, you can storm Peach's castle, fight inside the Krusty Krab, live out your Jedi fantasies, fight off a zombie infection at the Byers household, and blow up a Walmart, all in the same game. And in the off chance that you want to play a mode that doesn't already exist, then you can just make one yourself. Not only does the Forge Forge give out thousands of different experiences to try. It also allows you to play Halo in completely different ways. It puts you in the eyes of a game developer and allows you to create true masterpieces for other people to try, all in a simple, accessible, and fun way. The Forge offers so much things for you to try that some people have Halo solely for the purpose of playing or creating custom games. And that's why I chose the Forge as my example of how much replayability custom content offers to games. And I don't think I need to mention why replayability is a good thing for both gamers and developers alike. So far, I have been talking about community content as if it was just a fun gimmick that keeps games fresh and fun, but in a lot of cases it goes beyond that. Although Valve is a million-dollar company and a pioneer of gaming, their origins were extremely humble, with most of their now incredibly popular games starting out as simple mods of other games. Team Fortress was a Quake mod, Jojo was a World of Warcraft mod, Counter-Strike and Day of Defeat were Half-Life mods. Valve showed the world that modding and community content can go beyond a fun, simple feature and lead to completely new games and experiences, completely detached from the game they originally came from. Modders can too become game developers, and that has only become more prevalent as time passes. Valve gave us the ability to completely modify their games. We can make not only custom maps and game modes, but also custom guns, custom cosmetics, and even custom characters? And if they are good enough, there's a chance Valve will officially add them to their games, and even give their creators monetary rewards. Anubis, Cash, Grind, these are all maps by the community that were officially added to CSGO. The most recent TF2 event cosmetics are all made by the community. Hell, there have been entire updates to their games made by their community. The last stand update for Left 4 Dead 2 was entirely produced by members of the Left 4 Dead community. The Invasion and End of the Line updates for TF2 were also made by the community. Not only does community content pave the way for creators to one day become real game developers, it can also lead to collaborations between the community and the developers, allowing for a greater amount of official content while keeping the workload of the developers the same. But above all else, I love custom content because it makes me smile. Community content isn't bounded by anything but your own imagination. You can fight in Helm's Deep with a minigun, kill Thomas the Tank Engine, battle it out on the backrooms. It's all so weird and fun and a welcome breath of fresh air from the usual hyper-competitiveness of today's games. And that breath of fresh air led me to experience some of the most memorable, wacky moments of my life, and guided me into some of the friendliest, most welcoming communities in all of gaming, full of some of the nicest and intelligent people out there. If it wasn't for Overwatch's workshop, I would not be the same, and my channel would probably be completely different from what it currently is. So if any game developers are watching this, please do both yourself and us a favor and let us mold the world you created, make our own unique experiences, and put our creativity to the test. And please, let me put a couch on the payload so I can at least rest while I do absolutely nothing.